Hi everybody, this is Aaron Singerman and PJ Braun for Envision Medical, and we're here today to talk to you about Project Small. This is our second video, and we're going to start this thing off. We got a few things to hit today. We got our blood work back from Envision Medical, so we're going to discuss our blood work. We got our big bag of drugs from Envision Medical that we'll talk about in the next video, part 3. But first, we want to address some of the people out there that saw the first video that were interested. We got a lot of interest in the first video, and a lot of questions. Some of the questions are off base, some of them, relevant. So let's start with a relevant one. People want to know, when you guys do this, aren't you going to get really depressed? Coming off all the exogenous hormones, the testosterone and everything. You after a contest prep, me after years of taking testosterone. Are we going to be depressed?
Well, the belief is that that is the case, but in reality, when you go through a proper post-cycle therapy and use the proper medicines the right way, that actually doesn't happen, and you can come off everything and actually feel really good. I know this factually because I've done it myself. However, I've seen a lot of the guys that don't do it right, and they do in fact get very depressed. Many top-level professional bodybuilders that I know have gone through stages of crying and depression and all kinds of emotions that they wouldn't normally be going through simply because their bodies are so out of whack. And that's why we want to educate you guys so you can avoid that kind of stuff and do everything the right way, the healthy way. Exactly, and that's where Envision Medical comes in, blood work comes in, and the medicines come in. One of the things is people get medicines from a lot of different ways. There's a lot of sites out there that are available now. And I guess the big difference is when you get something from a pharmacy in America, you know exactly what you're getting. You know the quantity that's in it, the right amount of actual medicine per what you're taking. And that definitely plays a big role. Another question we've heard a lot of is, aren't you guys worried about getting really fat? Why don't you answer that? Yeah, that's also a fallacy. If you were a certain way before you started using any kind of hormones, your body is going to want to go back to its original state. And myself, for instance, when I was very, very young, I was overweight. And then I actually got very into sports and fitness, and I was actually in very, very good shape for many years. And I started bodybuilding at a very young age. And I was completely drug-free still at 23 years old, and I was 230 pounds. And if I were to guess, I would say 12-13% body fat. So I'm not ripped by any means, but in pretty damn good shape. And I think that most people actually believed that I was probably on steroids, right? So obviously when I did go on the hormones, I responded well. And I think that my body would eventually adjust back to that state. So will I be smaller? Yes. Will I be fatter? No. I think that
we're going to do a diet too, right?
We are going to diet. We're going to train pretty hard for this, actually. So we're not just going to sit around like bums. You're going to get out of your body what you put in. So I
think that's a common mistake also. When people are coming off of hormones, they think, oh, this is an opportunity to just be a bum, to eat whatever I want. It's like, you know what? It doesn't even matter what I do in the gym anymore because I'm not going to make any gains. We're going to approach it in a totally different direction. We're going to approach it as this is showtime. We're going to be acting like we're preparing for a competition, maybe not a bodybuilding competition, but a competition of sorts. So hopefully our condition is going to improve, and you're going to see by the end of this thing, you're going to see a whole totally different looking PJ Braun and Aaron Singerman as a result. And we encourage your questions, so shoot me an email at jubaka@rxmuscle.com or pjbraunfitness@yahoo.com. And you can always ask us a question. We'll answer it in future videos. Now let's talk about the blood work. And I'm going to put this on the screen so everybody can see it. We'll use my blood work as the prime example, since basically yours and mine are very similar. The same type of stuff. We both prepared in the same way for this by coming off of the testosterone for a few weeks now. So what happens when you do that, of course, is your levels drop. And let's see where my levels were. So my total testosterone here was, let's see, I got a lot of pages here, was 300, right? That was my serum testosterone was 300, and my estradiol was extremely high.
Now explain to them what the numbers should be.
Okay, so my testosterone, my serum testosterone was 300, and the average, or the range, is from 340 to 1197, and that means that's the level of natural. Let's say 348 is my grandpa, and 1147 is an 18-year-old black sprinter, right? Mm-hmm. Just to give you an idea. Anything above that 1197 is unnatural, or somebody's supplementing with testosterone. Mine has been as high with Envision Medical is in the 4,000 and 5,000s before. So 300 means that it's unnaturally low, or it needs to be supplemented. And the reason that is because I was off for a few weeks. If I stayed off a few more weeks, it will go even lower and lower to almost probably nothing, because not a lot's happening. The estradiol was high, which is a little bit of a surprise. I stopped taking my Arimidex, which was prescribed to me by Envision Medical. Maybe I should have stayed on it, but as a result, it's 138.4, which is very high. The top of the natural is 42, and the bottom is 7.6. You don't want your estrogen to be too low, because that can cause serious problems, right? You also don't want it to be too high, because you can get gynecomastia. You can get problems with erectile dysfunction, which thankfully I haven't had any. And you can have problems with all kinds of stuff. You can have fat deposits. I mean, what else can you have from high estrogen?
There's actually links of liver problems coming from high estrogen.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of problems that can happen from high estrogen. My insulin-like growth factor is towards the lower, but other than those two things, and then also, let's see, what else is a little bit high? I think my liver function is a little high, which is also to be expected for somebody like myself. The other things that we noticed, my liver function is a little high. It was 84, and the upper limit is 55. And that's pretty normal for anybody who's working out hard, who's taking any kind of anabolic steroids. It will be raised slightly. Or significantly. And the good thing about the liver is when you come off of everything, it regenerates quickly. So hopefully you'll see this number for me go way back down into the normal somewhere. Other than that, everything was pretty normal. My TSH was a little bit high. Now you're going to notice my let's see. What other stuff? I don't know if they did luteinizing hormone. My LH. Oh yeah, here it is. Here you go. My luteinizing hormone should be extremely low because I'm not producing any natural testosterone. My testicles are not functioning to produce testosterone, and that's shown right here by my LH being at 0.1, which is extremely low. The levels here are from 0.17 to 0.86. So I'm like at nothing, basically. And my progesterone is a little high. And all this stuff is not surprising. We want to see that LH go way up, right, PJ? Mm-hmm. That means that things are starting to kick back on down there. And PJ's blood work is very similar. Your estrogen is high. Your liver function is a little higher than mine as a result of being on for longer. And then the one other thing we wanted to talk about for a moment, this is totally new to us, is the food panel. You were surprised by this. We both did a food panel where it finds out what you're allergic to. This is something that you and I, where you say you're not even sure what we believe about it yet. Mm-hmm. It's something new, right?
Yeah, the one thing that I thought was most interesting about mine is I eat a wide variety of foods. I am a lover of food. And I have found over the years that I've had very bad digestion problems from whole eggs. And I found this out through trial and error. I just kept eliminating things and replacing things. And I finally found that when I removed whole eggs, I stopped getting these bad stomach pains. And sure enough, on my food allergy test, the food that I am the most allergic to is actually whole eggs. If
you look here, you could zoom in right here. You see the bar. That big bar right there by the whole eggs means stay away. That is the biggest bar on this whole thing. That and gluten are the two things of all of the foods on this whole thing that PJ should avoid, basically.
I actually do avoid, when I am pre-contest, gluten completely, actually. I actually don't even eat oats, and there's actually a lot of belief that people that do have a gluten intolerance shouldn't eat oats. I like to do foods like cream of rice, things like that. They're gluten-free. I find I digest them easier. The oats bloat my stomach really, really bad. I do have clients that I use them with, but myself personally, and it's now documented, I actually shouldn't eat those things.
So what we're going to do with this is we're going to follow this. And he has some other foods on here that are a little unusual, like garlic. It says he is considered avoid. Pineapple is eat in moderation. There's a whole bunch of different kind of foods on here. Brewer's yeast, it says avoid in moderation. Mushrooms, avoid. That's one he should stay away from. So
one thing that's really cool about these tests is that had I had these tests done from the start, I wouldn't have to go through the whole trial and error process of figuring out what foods work better for me. And I actually do this myself with my clients. We try different foods to see what works best. And something like this can actually eliminate all that, and actually get you to where you need to be faster.
So this will be integrated into Project Small, and hopefully this will make possibly staying leaner or getting leaner or performing better easier. It's kind of something we've decided to integrate in. Since we're with Envision Medical, it's one of the services they offer. Hell, and if we can get it for free, we may as well get it, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please send the questions our way. The next video will be about all of the various drugs that we have from Envision Medical to use in Project Small and how they will be used in our post-cycle therapy. So for PJ Braun, Aaron Singerman, Envision Medical, peace out.